Tesla is in between growth waves right now, and this is something they have expressed themselves. They are in the middle of the ramp of new products like the updated Model 3 and Cybertruck, and they are dealing with the pressures of the high interest rate environment. They have tried lowering vehicle prices to combat higher interest rates, but ultimately that only goes so far and earns them less per vehicle. Coming up, they have what could prove to be their most important product ever, the next-gen vehicle, which should start around $25,000 profitably. But in the meantime, we're here. We may find Tesla getting creative with things that they can charge for, especially in areas customers aren't fully accustomed to, and one of those areas is software. Tesla updates their vehicles all the time, but soon this could become a profit center for them, so let's get into it. On Tesla's most recent earnings call, they mentioned some negative impacts on revenue as reduced vehicle average selling price and lower FSD revenue recognition year over year due to FSD beta wide release in North America in Q4 22. The first there is pretty obvious. They have dropped prices to compete and sell the cars they make. At the end of the day, a lot of the equation for buyers comes down to a monthly payment, and with interest rates higher right now, that raises those payments. Today, the refreshed Model 3 starts around $38,990, and the Model Y starts around $43,990. The Model Y qualifies for a tax credit, but the Model 3 does not. Tesla is still profitable here, but they are always balancing supply and demand. Ultimately, these cars can only come down so far, which is why their next-gen platform will end up being incredibly important. That car will be in the price range that anyone can afford, whereas today a Model 3 or Y, even with tax credits and reduced maintenance costs considered, can be a bit of a stretch. With that car still on the horizon, Tesla may need to find other ways to make some money. Tesla's view for years on FSD is that the cost of that software will keep going up since they are so close to achieving true self-driving. They have made a ton of promises in this regard, but as is pretty much known by all, they haven't delivered. They have improved things a lot and released very impressive betas, but I'd argue it has never been worth $15,000. More recently, we saw them drop the FSD package price from $15,000 down to $12,000, seemingly to help out with their low take rate, which in Q3 of 2022 was about 7.4% worldwide. I wouldn't be surprised if this decreased further as well due to higher interest rates. In any case, this has been a huge part of Tesla's vision for future income. This software is supposed to come to all cars that have the FSD hardware, which they've been shipping for a few years now. And if they truly delivered it, it could enable tons of people to have self-driving overnight with an update, an expensive one that Tesla is finally able to realize after years of development. The thing is, this is still taking time, so Tesla's main source of income comes directly with their products. They have 4 cars and they don't change all that often. There are notable differences between a 2020 and a 2024 Model Y, but to someone who isn't a Tesla fan, there isn't much reason to upgrade, especially since Tesla takes such a software-based approach. The software on a 2020 Model Y will essentially be identical to that of a brand new one today, and this for a long time has been a great feature of buying a Tesla. Throughout ownership, your car gets better. The side effect, though, is that by delivering free updates to customers throughout ownership, it really makes upgrading only make sense once there are bigger overarching changes to the hardware in the car. For example, the old Model 3 to the new Model 3. This is finally enough of a refresh that some customers may want to upgrade their car. Software-wise, it's still fairly similar to that of a 2017 Model 3, but you can get a number of noticeable upgrades inside and outside that help it stand out. That's a 7-year gap though, and if Tesla keeps this pattern going, they will find it more difficult to convince customers to upgrade. They'll always be looking for brand new customers. Certain products like the Cybertruck and absolutely their next-gen vehicle will bring in more customers, but long-term it seems that Tesla's focuses on AI and software is where they will need to look for profit. Currently, Tesla charges $10 per month for their premium connectivity subscription. This enables live traffic visualization, satellite view maps, video streaming, karaoke, music streaming, and internet browsing over LTE anywhere your car is connected. If you prefer not to buy enhanced autopilot for $6,000 or FSD for $12,000, you can also subscribe to FSD for $199 per month. Aside from that, they have experimented with a number of paid-to-use subscription features in the past. Right now, the Model Y long range comes with a 4.8 second 0 to 60. However, you can boost that down to a 4.3 second 0 to 60 with a software upgrade. They charge $2,000 for this, and essentially it unlocks a capability that is already there in every Model Y. This simply unlocks the feature and gives your Model Y its full potential. One of the more controversial upgrades like this that Tesla charged for in the past was heated seats. On the Model 3 standard range, one of the downgrades was that it only had front heated seats. However, the hardware was there for the rear heated seats. It was just deactivated. As such, Tesla opened up a paid $300 upgrade to unlock rear heated seats through the Tesla app. This has since disappeared, and the rear-wheel drive Model 3 comes with heated front and rear seats, at least for now. For a short period of time last year also, Tesla actually sold a software-locked Model S and X, giving it a $10,000 discount for less range. However, it still had the same battery pack. This quickly disappeared, and it's unclear if anyone actually took delivery of this spec, but in theory, it could have given customers the option to pay to unlock their full battery pack down the road. Other companies like BMW and Mercedes charge subscriptions for various vehicle features. Similar to Tesla's acceleration boost, you can pay for an acceleration increase on a Mercedes EQ, except that it is $1,200 per year. BMW similarly charges upgrades for remote engine start, drive recorder, traffic camera, driving assist, and parking assistant. As I mentioned earlier, Tesla isn't charging for heated seats, for now, but this soon may change. Back in November, Tesla hacker Green posted about the upgrades Tesla is looking to charge for in the future. It looks like they will include heated seats and heated wipers. This time it specifically mentions front heated seats as well. So it would become much more of an upgrade that average customers would want since it directly affects the driver. In that same tweet, he also mentions a software-limited rear-wheel drive standard range Model Y, but we haven't seen any of these come to fruition yet. Overall, these types of upgrades aren't going to significantly make a difference on Tesla's profit side, but what could is paying for software updates. In this day and age, we are extremely used to getting updates for free. Each new iOS or Android upgrade that brings many new features comes for free. Most apps get updated regularly for free, or those updates are somewhat considered quote-unquote free as part of your subscription with more professional apps. Your subscription pays to make those upgrades possible. On Tesla's side, they're constantly improving things via software, and soon we could see them distinguish an upgrade between bug fixes and new features. Apple somewhat does this already, delivering certain software features on a new phone that could almost surely be run just fine on last year's phone. So could we see Tesla do the same? In December, Tesla released their annual holiday update. This has become something that customers expect each year, and they even end up a bit disappointed if this free upgrade under-delivers. I think that's funny since almost no car gets new features like this via software upgrades, but it happens. The first thing they added was alternate routes, showing you 2 or 3 routes at the start of your trip, instead of picking one for you automatically. Then came Park Assist, available on non-USS cars, Apple Podcasts, game updates, speed cameras, and traffic light icons, more cameras live streaming to the Tesla app, new light shows, a new blind spot indicator within the blind spot camera view, custom lock sounds, and more. Of course, this also came with bug fixes. In 2022, this update brought Apple Music, the ability to view the cabin camera from the app, Steam on the Model S and X, MyQ integration, auto turn signals, and more. In the past as well, some big upgrades like Sentry Mode were delivered via software updates. Going forward, this could open up a great opportunity for Tesla that would be disappointing for customers. They could completely change their perspective on software updates, making the ones that come regularly to all customers ones that fix bugs only. For those that paid for FSD, of course, they will get upgrades there in perpetuity, assuming the hardware can keep up with that functionality. But for customers who simply bought a base Tesla with no upgrades, what if they start charging for real updates? Instead of regular new features throughout the year, Tesla could decide to release one big software upgrade a year in a similar fashion to Apple upgrading macOS or iOS. The difference, of course, being that you would pay for those upgrades in your Tesla. Getting regular new software features is unheard of in most vehicles, so they may find it an additional source of unrealized revenue. This is something we haven't seen for a very long time, but it used to be commonplace. I definitively remember upgrading my Mac to macOS X 10.5 Leopard in 2007. This was an upgrade you bought discs for, and it was $129. Today, this would be unheard of, but there is one angle Tesla could take here. Rather than charging customers each year to upgrade their software version onto the latest Tesla OS version, whether it be $29 or $199, they could opt to charge a subscription for regular feature upgrades. Of course, all cars get bug fixes, but maybe you upgrade from Premium Connectivity to Premium Connectivity Plus for an extra $10 a month. So you are now paying $20 a month to Tesla. That ensures you get premium connectivity, as well as every new software feature that gets delivered on brand new cars. That's an extra $120 a year for perpetual updates. If you stop subscribing, that's fine, and you keep getting necessary bug fixes, but your car will stop getting new updates. The funny thing here is that not everyone actually likes their car's software changing over time. For someone like me, I love it, but some customers are a bit frustrated that when they get in their car that they've had for a few years, controls have been moved around on screen. They have been optimized, but for some it's just different, and that's annoying. So being given this choice to opt out of future updates might actually be something that particular customers want. For those customers paying, though, whatever the amount is, this will require Tesla to keep churning out new features. People will simply unsubscribe if there is not value being delivered, so that could be a good thing or a bad thing. On the consumer side, it could force them to continue making software better, actually delivering things that customers have wanted for a long time. But on Tesla's side, they keep having to find ways to improve their car, even if many of the things in it are already pretty optimized. Regardless, it does create a lot of complexity on the software side for Tesla. They already deal with a lot, and will continue to deal with a lot given the sheer number of cars they already have on the road, running tons of different iterations of software. But adding in the fact that many cars would be running older versions, and older versions would need bug fixes, it may not be something that they would want to deal with. Instead, they may just prefer to get as many customers consistently upgrading as possible and stick with the situation now. Which leads to the next option, something that has been rumored for a long time, a Tesla App Store. So far, Tesla has designed and developed all of their own software. When you get a new feature like Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, their development team had to work to deliver that. In part, this has slowed down progress in regards to what could run on a Tesla. There are a growing list of apps that people want in their Teslas, like YouTube Music, Audible, Amazon Music, Waze, and many other streaming platforms. In other cars, you have CarPlay, but in a Tesla, you don't, so these essentially are missing compared to the competition. I'm sure there are plenty of other use cases as well for apps that people would want. Leave a comment below to let me know what app you'd like to see in your Tesla. Tesla has hinted at an app store many times over the years, and rumors have been very strong of development at various times. Teslascope said, quote, "The rumor is out. Tesla has been working on their own app store since around May 2021 and will launch before deliveries of the Cybertruck." Well, clearly this did not happen, but most things with Tesla see some delay. Recently, we've seen Tesla open up their API to allow for third-party app integration. So far, this is simply giving a standardized process for apps connecting to your Tesla, but this very much could be laying the groundwork for a full-blown app store or Tesla app ecosystem on screen. A great concept of what this could look like was shown by Delete on Twitter, and it's a really exciting concept that would make perfect sense for Tesla. Very long term, you could interact with any of these apps while FSD is driving for you, but for the meantime, many of these would be great to engage with while driving, like Audible. With that said, how would Tesla profit from this? Well, the same way Apple does. They take a percentage of all app sales on the App Store, and this has become a huge part of Apple's business. For a Tesla, developers could take their iPad apps, adapt them to a Tesla API, and then immediately have it available to millions of users. This really shows Tesla's software advantage, because they can deliver an entire app ecosystem to their cars that have been shipping for years. These developers grow their apps, and Tesla grows their back-end profits along with them. To me, this is the best no-brainer option for Tesla. Customers still wouldn't necessarily have much reason to upgrade vehicle years, but they would be pouring more into this app ecosystem. Not only does that create revenue for Tesla, but it further locks people into staying with Tesla in the future. After you've bought all of these apps on your Tesla, are you going to want to switch to another automaker? One who doesn't have an app store or one you'll have to start from scratch with? Instead, when the time comes, you'll stick with Tesla and your car will restore from a cloud backup just like it does when you upgrade from one phone to another. On top of this, they could add a base Tesla OS upgrade subscription charge to their premium connectivity package, but I don't really see this happening. Tesla has sold people on the idea of free upgrades for years, and it's a big draw for them. To go back on that would be a pretty big deal to customers, especially ones used to regular upgrades on all devices that they own, but we'll see. Ultimately, Tesla sees a ton of revenue coming from the software side of things, but it seems that they have held this view in a way that has been very related to FSD. There, we see enough delays that for many, there is a lack of interest until something truly self-driving is delivered. Amongst Tesla fans, watching FSD progress is exciting, but among average customers, the question is, can it actually drive itself yet? No? Okay, I'll pass. If Tesla can achieve that, they'll get millions of customers willing to pay the high cost of FSD, but until then, they may need to get creative. The Model Y refresh should be coming soon, but once that's here, it likely will be quite some time before we see any true notable changes to the Model 3, Y, S, or X. Software seems to be the next avenue for Tesla to further venture into, charging for heated seat upgrades, maybe charging for software updates, but then hopefully delivering an app store to improve everyone's in-vehicle experience. As I mentioned at the beginning, Tesla is in between growth waves right now, but investors don't want to see a lull. They want to see results, so Tesla may need to get creative in a time when they're scaling up the Cybertruck, refreshing the Model 3, prepping to refresh the Model Y, and ultimately getting the $25,000 next-gen vehicle underway in Texas. Their latest timeline there is the end of 2025, so considering some normal delays, the next 2 years will be an interesting period to watch. What do you think, though? Is Tesla going to dive into this realm further? Would you be up for it or against it? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.